Okay, good evening and welcome to the May 13th, 2024 meeting of the Barnstable Planning Board here at Barnstable Town Hall. We're at 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Massachusetts, located in the James H. Crocker Jr. hearing room on the second floor. It is 7 p.m. The meeting notice has previously been filed with the town clerk in accordance with Mass General Law. All application materials may be accessed through the Planning Board website or by contacting Karen Pina at karen.pina@town.barnstable.ma.us or calling 508-862-4064. I will now call the meeting to order and introduce our board members and staff, starting with Matt.
Matthew Tay, good evening.
And Bob.
Bob Twist, good evening.
Tim.
Tim O'Neill, good evening.
Jim.
Jim Kupfer, Assistant Director, Planning and Development.
Karen.
Karen Pina, Admin Assistant, Planning and Development.
And myself, Steve Robichaud. Notice of recording the meeting will be televised live via Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition Channel 1072. It may also be accessed via the Government Access Channel live stream on the Town of Barnstable website, streaming85.townofbarnstable.us/cablecast public site. We'll start with public comment this evening. This is general public comment, not related to any of the agenda items this evening. If anybody has public comment, please come on down, make yourself known. Seeing none, we'll move to the first item this evening, which is an A&R. And Matt, would you read this one?
We're going to talk about a approval not required plan for Betty Ludke has submitted an approval not required plan entitled Plan of Land at number 30 Wachusett Avenue and number 32 Lafayette Avenue, Hyannis, Mass, prepared for Betty Ludke, dated March 5th, 2024.
Excellent.
We'll have someone here to present. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And just a reminder, this is not a public hearing, does not need to be voted open close. And we have with us this evening.
Good evening. Dan Ojala. I'm a land surveyor and civil engineer with Downkeep Engineering in Yarmouthport, and helping Betty out with a fairly simple matter. Attorney Dan Creedon called us up. This is a project we had worked on to go through the zoning board to change and alter the structures and basically make one larger structure out of the two single-family homes. And the zoning board had requested as part of that we come in for an A&R to merge the two lots together. Approval not required plans are the short form filings as opposed to a subdivision where you're creating ways. This is honestly could probably have been, there's a special endorsement called an 81X, which is no new lines or divisions of ownership or ways are created, but it's often a little bit more rigorous to have you folks look at it. That way we get the professional staff report, and the town is on notice that we're combining two lots. And so we surveyed it, we found existing monuments, we showed the two lots, the setbacks, everything that's existing, and we're simply dissolving the line between the two. So you can see on the plan there's lot 1 of very small, 2240 square foot, and lot 2 of 3433 square foot. And the symbol, the Z, means they're in common ownership. And there's a note on the plan that the purpose is for combining lot 1 and lot 2 into a single lot A. And the bolder letter says lot A, and it's got the sum of those two, which is 5673 square foot. We did throw on the shape number, which is a perimeter square divided by the area. You haven't got an acre here, but the bottom line is that if a plan is presented to the board that does not show a subdivision, then it can be endorsed as approval not required. Jim's staff report went through that and noted that there is a public way. The vital access standard is met. You've got a 50-foot wide townway on the south of over 50 foot of frontage, and a little more than twice that up on Lafayette, which is another public way. And again, these homes are going to be redone, but that doesn't have much to do with this petition. It's simply merging those two pieces into one formal lot. And it does, I believe, deserve endorsement under the subdivision control law as not approval not required, because it has the vital access and it does not show a subdivision. And the courts have found that then you can endorse that if it does not show a subdivision. And this is just something the zoning board requested. It'll make it easier for the building commissioner to determine that there's no yard setback issues when we build across the lot line. And I'd be glad to answer any questions if you do have them.
Excellent, thank you very much. And the board is in receipt of the staff report dated May 9th, 2024, which is also included in the materials. Jim, do you have anything to add or any comments about the staff report?
No, nothing further.
Thank you very much. And any comments or questions for Mr. Ojala? Matt?
So I assume that the encroachment there, the nonconformity of the ramp in the public way, is that part of what we're trying to resolve with the zoning board?
Yeah, as I recall, we did look at that and are adjusting it. It's not particularly mundane to this application, but I don't recall offhand. I believe that we are rebuilding, so we don't have an encroachment in the way anymore, but I wouldn't lock us into that. Let me just look and, yeah, it may be that some of that does stay, but we'll deal with the appropriate authorities if some does. I think the zoning board looked at that, and honestly, I don't recall. It looks like we may be getting rid of that because there's a new porch on sonotubes, some steps up front. So I don't think we need that ramp. So yeah, fair enough. Not directly involved, but as part of the redevelopment of the property, it does look like that ramp would be altered and moved.
One other question for you, Dan. So in the RF1 district, are we allowed 2 dwelling units on a single property? Do you know, Jim? I didn't.
No, it's one dwelling unit, but as part of the project, they're bringing them together.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so that was a special permit. It moved and connected to the existing front dwelling, so it's becoming one on one lot. And so that was blessed by the zoning board because
Great.
of the special conditions.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Great. Bob?
I'm good, thanks.
All right. And Tim?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, thank you. We'd look for a motion on this item, and if a motion is made, please include reading of the 2 findings on the staff report.
Back here, I'm going to come back to the staff report. I would make a motion that we approve the approval not required plan for number 30 Wachusett Avenue and 32 Lafayette Avenue as presented with the following findings. This does not constitute a subdivision because each of the lots have minimum required frontage on an existing way to have suitable grades and adequate construction to provide for the needs of vehicular traffic in relation to the proposed use for the installation of municipal services to serve such use. And all materials and conditions of Chapter 801, Article 4, approval not required plans have been submitted and are in full compliance.
Thank you for that. And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bob. All those in favor? Matt?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. The matter passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Ojala.
Thank you for your time.
Next on our agenda, we have a subdivision. This is subdivision number 828. Wind Development Company LP has submitted an application for a definitive subdivision for 307 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass. Assessors map 327, parcel 103. This does require a public hearing, so if we could have a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you, Bob. And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tim. All those in favor? Matt?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. The public hearing is open. This afternoon, we received memorandum from the Town of Barnstable DPW. It was relatively late in the day, and as such, it did ask for a couple minor tweaks to the subdivision plan. And with that in mind, we received an email from the applicant asking to continue this item until our next meeting on June 10th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Any questions, comments, or concerns before we look for a motion to continue this? Jim, anything to add?
No, nothing to add.
Okay. And with that, I move to continue subdivision number 828, Wind Development Company LP, definitive subdivision for 307 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass. Assessors map 327, parcel 103, to our next meeting on June 10th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Matt. All those in favor, Matt?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. The matter is continued to our next meeting. General correspondence, we did not receive any this week. And next up, we have a staff update from Jim.
Yeah, real quick staff update regarding the LCP. At our last meeting of the committee, they began to discuss economic development. We had a great presentation from our Economic Development Planner, Kyle Pedicini, and we began to discuss goals. In addition to the twice-a-month meetings, the existing draft chapters are out for comment. You can find that on barnstablelcp.com. Those comments are sought up until the end of business on the 16th of May. The reason for that is we're looking to collect those comments and bring them back to the local comprehensive planning committee for their following meeting towards the end of the month of May. So we would appreciate comments. Not the last time you'd be able to comment on the chapters, but certainly a good time to do so we can the committee can take those in and adjust the chapters appropriately. In terms of our weekly just update or recap, again, this coming Thursday, Wendy Northcross, the chair of the local comprehensive planning committee, will be updating the town council as to the process and the good work that the committee has done to date. So if you're interested in that, please tune in. Over the past week, we've discussed with Barnstable County regarding the potential for a regional housing services office. This is a pilot program that's going to be established for at least a 2-year time frame using ARPA funds. And that regional housing service office is going to assist all the communities on the Cape in different administrative tasks that are fairly repetitive in nature. And this is something that Barnstable, the town of Barnstable, has been hoping for some time. And so I'm glad to see it taking off. Happy to discuss that topic with anybody further. 2 Saturdays ago, we had a great site walk at the old Marston's Middle School, and we're ongoing discussions about concepts and designs that could go there. We have another meeting of the Marston's Mills master planning for the old school site on the 29th of May at Liberty Hall. It's going to be more of a workshop format. A lot of the discussion that we heard, or a lot of comments that we heard, was, just how big is 14 acres? What could go on 14 acres? So we're hoping to assist in answering those questions at that next meeting. And then lastly, just for everyone to keep a lookout, if you're in the planting zone in Hyannis and parts of Centerville and Barnstable, for Greening the Gateway, there will be a mailer going to every individual in the planting zone, or every household, in the planting zone, to try and get your attention to grab a free tree. And that's it.
I think that's great. Yeah, that's excellent. Any comments or questions for Jim?
What was the date? Was it the 20th for the Marston's Mills?
29th.
29th.
Great. Yeah, sounds excellent. Anything else? Okay. Moving along, we're going to look to approve some minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from April 8th, 2024?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of April 8th, 2024.
Excellent. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Matt. All those in favor, Matt?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. Next up, we have approval of minutes from April 22nd, 2024.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes of April 22nd, 2024.
Thank you, Tim. And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Matt. All those in favor, Matt?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. Future meetings, Monday, June 10th at 7 p.m. here at Town Hall, and Monday, June 24th, 2024, here at 7 p.m. at Town Hall. Anything else before we look to adjourn this evening? Okay, I move that we adjourn. We have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bob. All those in favor, Matt?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. All set.